Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Desi Connection. On today's show, we talk to Karen David. She's a graduate in fine arts from National College of Arts, and then, based on a Fullbright scholarship, she got to go study in America. She's currently residing in France, and she's an actress, and she's also into miniature. We talk about her early life and how was it growing up being a minority in Pakistan. A lot more, and this on today's episode. So check it out on the Desi Connection. All right, guys. So we're here with another episode of the Desi Connection. And as I told you, we're talking to Karen David. Karen, how are you?
Good. We're off to
So the
Sorry.
reason why we're laughing is because Karen was about to take a sip of water or coffee, and then
Oh,
suddenly I asked her, "How are you?" This is
I'm good.
normal. This is
Mm,
the way in which podcasts are done nowadays. So it's
hmm
all good.
Okay.
Cassie, where are you right now?
I'm at my home, in my apartment, in the room that I'm using as a studio.
Okay, and your
So
home is
in
located
Lyon,
where?
France.
Lyon, France. Oh,
Yes.
enchanté.
Ah,
Comment
enchantée.
allez-vous, mademoiselle?
Je vais bien, merci.
That's the extent of my French, by the way.
Uh, I nearly forgot the response, so
I know I
I
catch
switched
people
from
off guard.
Urdu to English to French. Don't do that to me. It's too early.
I also do this really weird French accent, or rather, a man speaking English with a French accent.
Let's hear it.
So I cannot do that right now. It's not very possible. You caught me off guard.
Oh my God, that was
Sound
horrible.
like someone like Steve Martin from Pink Panther.
I know.
Oh
Oh,
god. So Karen, we've known each other for quite a long time, but we haven't spoken for
mhm.
also a very long time. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way we got introduced was through theater.
hmm
So the first question that I have for you is, how is the love of theater for you today? Is it still alive?
Um, well, I'd say the only reason I started theater in Pakistan, because I was always in love with cinema actually, and it, well, you know what cinema was like in Pakistan when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Yes, it didn't really make me want to be on the big screen in Pakistan, but and so yeah, that's the reason I went into theater because there was more it was more interesting stories being told, and I mean I suppose I fell in love with it because it was acting and I love to act. But since coming to France, I think I've had the opportunity to make that transition towards cinema, which is what I've always wanted to do, really. Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
So
uh,
do you speak French?
I do speak French, yes.
Okay, so is the opportunity that you've gotten in France also in French? Is it like commercial theater or arts?
Well, I started off, there was this one in, because when I first moved here, obviously I didn't know the language as well. I can't do Shakespeare in French. So I found, well, my partner found this one English theater company in Lyon. And so I did a bunch of plays with them. And it was very, very traditional. He did a lot of plays like Medea, the Duchess of Malfi, and Shakespeare, like all very like dark and depressing. And they didn't do a lot of contemporary plays. And I sort of needed that as well. Like if I was doing theater, I wanted something more natural and more contemporary as well. Of course, I love doing Duchess of Malfi, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
wanted to
I get your
step
point.
into the contemporary as well. Um, so yeah, since I didn't know the language, I was very uh, shy and not very confident about daring to do auditions in French.
Mm,
Uh, and I guess it's been 8 years since I've been in Lyon now, and it's only been this year that I've started uh, auditioning in French.
Okay.
Uh, because I think something just clicked or snapped in my head where I was just like, you know what, fuck it. They
Hmm.
don't like me, they don't like me.
That's good.
If I
So
fuck
you're
up,
true
I
to
fuck up.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned my lines because with French, at least if I can't go in cold because I need to learn my lines.
Hmm.
I need to know the flow of the scene and everything before I go in because it's not my first language.
Hmm.
So with auditions, they always send you in the script that they want you to learn, so that's good. But if they do like a cold reading or they ask you to do another scene, I'm a little bit fucked, but
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
okay. Like I don't give a shit now. So I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do my best.
All right.
So
Do you
yeah.
remember your first time in theater in Pakistan? How you got that opportunity?
It was with Shade Auntie, I think. Well, actually, the first theater I did with Shade Auntie was the first kind of um, I guess produced play that was put up
Yeah. In
in
Alhambra or
in
some kind
Alhambra
of
or
hall?
something. Yeah.
Okay.
But the first play I did was in school, and the first audition I had was also in school, and it went terribly because I was so scared that I could barely speak, and they kept telling me to, can you speak up, and I couldn't because I was so terrified. And then I cried in the bathroom for 2 hours.
Which school was this? How old were you?
This was convent of Jesus and Mary, and I think I must have been 14, 13, 14 years old, something like that, maybe
Okay.
older.
And
Um,
so that
and
was the first time that you got rejected, or
first time I auditioned, first time I got rejected.
okay.
And so yeah, I remember like bawling my ass off in the bathroom. Um, and
Do you remember
then
what role it was?
we were doing an Agatha Christie play. It was called Witness for the Prosecution.
Okay.
And I don't even remember what role I auditioned for. Um, and what happened after that? I had a really nice math teacher, and I'm such a terrible person that I've forgotten her name. But she was very observant, I would say, because
Mm-hmm.
I suppose she noticed that I was very upset
Mm-hmm.
over not getting that audition, and the play was cast, and we went to see the performance, and it was in the school. It wasn't, they didn't take it to Alhambra or anything. It was all like
Yeah,
what's it called,
closed
in
indoors.
house.
Yeah, in-house productions.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I saw the play like all like grumble grumble. And it was really well done, though. I remember like we were all like, wow, that's amazing. um and so my math teacher saw how upset where I was, and after like a few months after the play had been staged and everything, and the seniors were about to leave, and we were going to have a farewell party for them. They wanted to put up like a skit or something. So this math teacher said, "Hey, Karen, why don't you write a parody on this play, on Witness for the Prosecution?" And I'm like, why the fuck is she asking me? Because like I'm like the weirdest kid in the class. I never talk. Like all the teachers fucking hate me. I'm always sent to the principal's office. what? Why are you asking me? I'm like sulking in the corner half the time. What makes you think I'm a writer? um, but I don't know. But strangely enough, she saw something, I guess, and so I grabbed that opportunity. I was like, "Whoa, you want me to? Yes, I'll do it. Fuck." So, and so I wrote like this whole parody on it, like, and all of my kind of
It was
uh
probably a catharsis for
it was a
you.
catharsis for me because I was just so like upset over not getting the part as well. I ended up killing off all the characters in the play. Like everyone dies. Everyone dies a brutal fucking death.
Oh my God. That is
and
brilliant.
and this was at Convent of Jesus and Mary, by the way. Like I shot
That's
people in the
amazing.
head, I stabbed them in the heart. Fucking Titus Andronicus up there. But yeah, so and I remember I had auditions and like some for some roles I already had people in mind. I think my friend Uzma was in it as well, and I got my memories failing me now, but yeah, there was a bunch of people I already had written the roles for. I was like, oh, she'll be perfect for this. So like I cast them in my head already, and I remember we were all learning our lines, and it was so exciting for all of us because we were all friends, and we knew our lines backwards,
Amazing.
and we would just say our lines during break time and just like have fun with it. And so yeah, so putting up the play was a lot of fun too because it was kind of a musical number as well. I added
Oh,
all I added music to it. People would like break into dance
oh my God.
and then finally get shot in the head.
So you get your friends to play
Yeah,
the roles and then you kill them off, but you
I
also
killed
have
them all.
like a dance number in
I
between. That's
have
like
dance
very
numbers.
Bollywood.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
brilliant.
So that was fun. And
And
of course I played like I was in it too. Uh,
mhm.
I played like the doctor who ended up dancing to hot stuff
Oh my
like
God.
Donald Summer while checking if somebody was dead. He just gave him a kick and he's like, yeah, I guess he's dead.
And I'm assuming here that it was an all girls play.
It was an all girls play, yes.
Right. So because
And
I come from also a all boys school where
mm,
we dressed up like girls
mhm,
for our plays. So we've done a lot of those kind of things as well.
mm.
But tell me, when was the first time you did an outside production? Because I
Um,
remember we did a lot of different theater together.
mhm,
It runs in the family, Call Me Ishmael,
yeah.
and one or two others. But I think Call
Mhm,
Me Ishmael is where you and I were introduced to one another. It was part of uh, Real Entertainment
mhm.
Productions, part
Yes.
of Umair
Yeah,
Rana's
yeah,
crew.
yeah. And I
So
think Shiraz Khan Niazi as well.
Shiraz Khan
Yeah,
Niazi, exactly. I
yeah.
think he was the one who used to lead it
He
and
wrote it.
direct
He
it. Yeah,
wrote
he
it.
wrote it.
Yeah.
And then Umair was one of the lead actors, of course.
Mhm.
But was that your first time in an outside production?
No, I'm trying to remember what my first time was now.
It runs in the family, maybe,
I'm not sure. Yes, it might have been It Runs in the Family. Yeah, you're
right?
right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
when did you audition for this, or do you remember anything related
yeah.
to it? Because it's so long ago.
I don't remember auditioning for It Runs in the Family. Oh, I know that it was Shadi Auntie. It was Shadi Auntie's production. I think
Hmm.
I don't know if it was. Yeah, it must have been It Runs in the Family, and that was the first time I met Ian.
Yeah, great guy.
And it was also Daud. I think I already kind of knew about him, but I guess I got to know him better during It Runs in the Family.
Hmm.
And so yeah, these are friends that you have like this good like the friends you make in theater are different. It's like
Yeah, true.
you become a family immediately, and then you're closer than you get close real quick. um
Exactly. And
and
I remember when I saw Ian for the first time, I was like, यार ये गोरा उर्दू क्यों बोल रहा है और इतनी अच्छी क्यों बोल रहा
I
है?
know he speaks Urdu and Punjabi.
Punjabi, and I was like, dude, this is like maybe the British left someone over and they forgot about him.
Haan,
And they're
bechara.
like, what? Like he was like a total Gora through
Yeah,
and
he's
through. I mean,
great.
even
Yeah.
with the name, I was like, wow, this guy's really put an effort to learn our language. Finds out,
Mm.
I find out later, no,
It's
he's
because he
here.
was raised in Pakistan
Yeah, right.
since he
So,
was a kid.
but
So
so theater is something that I hold really dear to myself because I
mm,
also found it to be an kind of an extension of the creative will that people
mm,
like us have.
yeah,
And there are two types of theater in Pakistan. You have the standard theater, which is huge all over
yeah.
Punjab,
Mm,
and then you have this kind of like sideline of a theater where a
mm.
couple of people try different productions.
Yeah, I think
And
maybe I was in that like off mainstream.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were all in that kind of, you might even call it as the burger crowd. We were
mm,
in these kind of theater
mm,
plays, and people still
mm,
came from all our schools.
mm,
Do you think that theater was ever going to be a lifelong passion for you, or did you know that this was just a hobby that you did during the summer break or something like this?
mm. I know that when I did it, I gave it my all. Um, I can't really recall what I was thinking. I know that at some point I wanted to move to the States and like pursue acting properly. Um, but
Hmm.
as it happened, uh, because I'd studied art, that was the degree I had. That was my um, path, my what's it called, my ticket
Hmm.
abroad was through that. So when I applied, I don't know what I was thinking. I think maybe for a long time I was just scared of really pursuing it. You know,
Wow. Yeah. And I feel that
um,
many people in our generation could have
mm,
done a lot from theater
mm,
and maybe even move into broadcast television
yeah,
or maybe even to film. At that time,
mm,
yes, film wasn't the way we see it today,
mm,
but we probably didn't pursue it because we felt, this could not be a career. We were always told
mm,
theater is only for college days.
mm,
Not many people take it afterwards. So
yeah,
you studied in Canade, then you went to the National
mm,
College of Arts,
mm.
the no doubt the best university for art in
and
Pakistan.
and we did a lot of like I did plays in Canade when I was there. Like I continued it even through college. I think NC is probably the one place where maybe I didn't
Why
have
was that?
time. I don't know. Like I
Because I
don't know.
would have
We did a
thought in
few
NCA,
productions, but not really.
yeah, because I would have thought in
I
NCA
didn't have any memorable,
flourishes.
yeah, per- performance memories from NCA really. I mean, I know tried to start a theater company, but I don't know. I guess I didn't really like the vibe at NCA. I don't know. Like,
How was your experience of NCA overall?
um,
Did you fit in?
no, not
Why
really.
do you think?
Well, first of all, as soon as you're a first year, you need to get ragged.
Oh yeah.
And I was really, I was very headstrong as it was. Like I told you, at
Yeah.
school, I was always sent to the principal's office. I was always the one who would talk back to the
Mhm.
to the teachers, to the principal. I didn't care. Um, so yeah, someone like me being ragged at NCA, that's not going to go down well. So yeah, the seniors did not like me. Because they were like, oh well, it's better for your future if you get ragged. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about future? They're like, oh well, they're more helpful to you when you do your thesis. I was like, I don't need, I don't need a goddamn person to
But
tell me
what kind
my.
of a ragging was it? Was it to the level of
Um,
bullying or was it just
I'd heard horror stories about the kids who were in the hostels, like they'd had their heads shaved and then they had to like sit
no?
sit like a chicken or something. They actually saw them with their head shaved in like weird, you know, shapes. The hair was some guy had like
Mohawk,
a not even a mohawk. They'd shaved like the middle part of his head, like just the middle,
anti-Mohawk.
anti mohawk, yeah. Um,
My God.
so yeah, they did all kinds of, and some people were like willing to take it, which is fine. I wasn't. And I remember getting into a fight with one of the senior girls who would always like say something snarky every time I walked by in the hall, and I eventually got so pissed off. This was at the canteen. I was bitching about her to my friends. I was like, what the fuck she's on. What the fuck is she? Who the fuck does she think she is? And I called her a bitch, like not to her face, but like she was across the canteen, and I guess I looked at her and called her a bitch, and she read
And
my
she,
lips.
oh,
She fucking came over, and she she was like, "Do you want to say that again?" Or I don't remember what the fight was, but she was about to slap me,
wow.
and I was like, "You fucking try it, bitch."
The confidence. Oh my
and
God.
I I'll tell you one thing about me. When push comes to shove, I actually get like this weird rush of adrenaline and I'm ready to go. Like
Okay,
I will
so in yeah, the kind of situation, fight or flight, you're the fight
I'm the
person.
fight person. I will stand my ground. I'm like,
Okay,
okay, you
that's
know
pretty
what?
cool.
There's nowhere to go. All right.
That is pretty cool.
Let's
So
get this
was this
done.
the case throughout
Huh?
your NCA days, or did it kind of
Um,
mellow down somewhat?
it mellowed down obviously by the by maybe third year or something, and then fourth year I got to know my friends, like the people in my own studio quite a bit,
Mm,
and my painting buddies, and yeah, we all hung out a lot, and yeah, it was nice that time when we were all when it was close to like mid thesis or thesis, and we were all painting together in the same room. And I remember some of my friends, some friends who I'm still buddies with them. Uh, we couldn't stand painting alone after NCA was over, so like they would come over to my place and we'd paint together in the basement. So yeah,
good
that's
days, good
yeah,
college times.
yeah. Yeah, there's this quote that goes, I wish we knew we were in the good old days and we're actually in the good old days.
Exactly. That's so true. And when you talk about art, I feel that art has to be a social experience. I know there are artists that do a lot of solo work,
Mm.
but somehow when you're starting off and you're in college, it feels like it has to be done collectively. But what are your thoughts on this?
Collectively, I don't understand what you mean.
Like you need to have some kind of energy around you. You need to feed off other people for
Yeah,
art,
yeah,
right? So what
no,
are your
definitely.
thoughts on that?
Um, I mean, I think it's just it's growing up because you're still kids, even
Yeah.
during your bachelor's, you don't know what your identity is yet. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
speaking for myself, but I think for most people, when they go to school or when they go to college, they're just figuring things out.
Mhm.
They're taking things that they like from pop culture, from media,
Yeah.
from their friends, and they're like creating this identity for themselves. And it's only much later, maybe quicker for some people, but much later for others, that they realize, you know what, none of that shit matters. This is who I am, and they're confident enough to say, hey, this is actually what I've wanted all along, and fuck you.
Yeah. And when you
um,
were going into the arts degree,
mm.
did you have a career in mind related to fine arts for yourself?
Are you talking about when I went for my master's or when I?
No, even like before your master's, you
Hmm.
went to NCA and you went for the fine arts
Yeah,
program.
yeah.
What were you thinking that what path was it going to open up for you as a career afterwards?
You know what? Honestly, I wasn't really thinking at all. I was
Hmm.
just going with the flow. Because I remember my mom told me, she's like, Karen, if you want to go to like an acting school or something, do it now. Um, and honestly, I couldn't tell you what was going through my head. I was just like, eh, I'll just do whatever's easiest right now. And like I said, like I guess I was lacking confidence in pursuing it. Really, I wanted it.
Why was there this self-doubt?
I don't know. I mean, I've learned to tackle it now. Now I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna be that girl from school again, tell everyone
Yeah.
to like fuck
Yeah.
you. Um, it took a while to get it back because I think when I moved to France as well, like not knowing the language, and it also put me like pushed me even further back into my shell,
Mhm.
and it took a while for me to get out of it and
Do
to
you
like.
think the fact that both your parents, one your mother who is also the principal or was a principal of Kinnaid College, Ruxana David,
Mhm.
and your dad, Mr. David, both were in fine arts, and
Yeah,
in their own rights, they had their own interior
yeah,
business, were very
yeah,
successful. Do you think that kind of influenced you into the path that you currently took because it was
yeah,
closer to home?
for sure. Yeah, it was my comfort zone. Yeah, that's what it was. It was my comfort zone.
And the comfort zone,
Yeah.
I can imagine it's your comfort zone, but
Mm.
Look, I applied for NCA as well.
Mm,
I wanted to be
okay,
a product designer. I wanted to
right.
make chairs and I wanted to make
Uh-huh.
candle stands. I wanted to
Oh,
make beds. But I
wow.
was shitty at drawing. Like when
Uh,
when the test came around, I
really?
we were supposed to, make that life-size person, sketch
Mm,
them out. I
yeah.
was sketching and they give you a break in between and I saw the sketch from the person next to me and
Hmm.
it was like a black and white photograph. I
Wow.
was like, there and then I realized I don't have the talent for this.
He's
So
probably trained by RM name.
you never know exactly. And I also
Yeah.
went to Naim Saab's
You did?
Academy, or
Okay.
yeah, or was it Naim Saab's Academy? I think so. But
Mm,
I didn't have it in me. I was good at drawing, but I
mm,
wasn't great at drawing. Like I wasn't in the top league. So you must have had something to be able to do fine art. So was
mm.
that something that you grew up with? Like your parents
Yeah.
would, you know, give you a pencil, sketch, or something, or did you
I
pick it up on
mean,
your own?
I just picked it up on my own. My dad never like taught me drawing or anything. It was just from watching him, and I enjoyed drawing as a kid. I would draw. I know there was this one artist that I loved, and it's
Hmm.
like, he drew for like what was it, Heavy Metal magazine, and
Wow.
the
What was
artist
the name of the artist?
Boris Vallejo, I think
Okay.
that's how to pronounce his last name, Vallejo. And he drew like very, I guess was he drew women and men, but they were all like muscular and like oiled up
Oh
and
wow.
wearing like these fantasy costumes, and they were like serpents and monsters and
Oh
battles,
nice.
and it was very objectifying, I suppose, of the human body.
Hmm.
But I liked it. I was a kid. I was like, that's so hot. Um,
So you were
uh,
always into people drawing, and it wasn't like
drawing figures.
sketching of,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, so not about abstract or not about
No, no,
nature,
no.
nothing like
I
that.
I always like was attracted to the human body, and I suppose the fact that living in Pakistan and having to hide your body
Hmm.
was a factor as well. It's like, and plus I'm I like to do the opposite of what people tell me to do by
So
nature.
a bit
So,
of that rebellious
yeah.
nature.
So
Okay.
if the society's telling me to hide something, I'll be like, no, fucking look at it. Here,
Oh, you're
take
like
that.
my younger daughter. You tell her to do something,
Mm,
she'll say the opposite. You tell her not to do something, and she'll do it. She's like a
mm,
cat that's about to drop
mm.
a bottle off the
Yeah.
table, and you look at the cat and you say no, and
And the cat's like,
there it goes. Yeah.
mm-mm.
No, but I like that kind of ambitious nature and streak. So you
Yeah,
went
but
to,
then sorry for interrupting. I
no,
guess
no.
like my ambitious streak or whatever, now that I look back, I'm like, okay, I was still in my comfort zone and being ambitious, you know? I never truly let myself be terrified of not doing well,
Hmm. Yeah, I
right?
can imagine. Yeah, yeah, I get your point.
Now I'm taking those risks where I'm like, it's possible that I could be shit at this.
Yep, I get your point. And
Um, yeah.
this kind of, personality,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's difficult for a lot of people in Pakistan to accept, at least during our time. Now, I
Yeah.
think it's more acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
especially for women. But
Mm-hmm.
back then, I could imagine like a lot of people in your community, in your
Mm-hmm.
surroundings, in your neighborhood, they would have not appreciated it. How was
I
it for you?
appreciated what? Sorry,
Being a very opinionated person,
mm.
did it ever come back to you that people are like, oh yeah, no, not Karen, not this girl,
Oh
or
yeah, I mean, at school, I think the first whiff I got of I of rejection was there was like this vote for who's going to be head girl, and apparently a lot of people voted for me, but when it reached the top tier, meaning the faculty, they were like they nixed it. They were like, not her.
oh yeah, because too opinionated,
Yeah,
she would stand for people's rights, and then you know
I wouldn't stand
they
for
don't know what
shit. I just be
they,
like, do whatever the fuck you want. I'd be the agent of
exactly.
chaos. Like, no
And she'd be
fucking
like,
way.
anarchy,
Pretty much.
down with the system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so But you graduated, and then did you also? I think you also lectured in NCA for
And
a
yeah,
while,
for a
right?
while, yeah.
How did that come
Yeah,
about?
I enjoyed it. I liked giving lectures, and then of course the only thing I ever gave lectures about was films. So it was art school. Well, I mean, I would think that, you know, it's very much part of the art world. So I showed them like Akira. I showed them, I don't know, I showed them so many weird films as well. Like, and we had this other teacher too. And again, I've forgotten her name, but she showed us like some very obscure films that had like some, I guess they had like some certain explicit scenes in them. And
Mhm.
bless her heart, she didn't fucking fast forward them.
Oh, amazing.
We sat there, we watched it. I had a grin on my face the entire time. Some of
Oh
my
my
friends were
God.
like gasping, not my friends, but like people we made fun of. They were like gasping and, you know, hemming and hawing and
Oh,
like,
haram,
oh
haram.
haram. And then they went back and they complained about this teacher to the you know, principal or something. So yeah, you know, I enjoyed the shit out
Agents
of
of
it, but
change, agents of change, I call
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But how was your trajectory from being an NCA lecturer?
Mm,
You also then worked as a publication graphic designer, I think in
mm.
Theater Valley and
Oh yeah, but that
Kashf.
was for a very short time.
Yeah, but
Um,
how did you get that
how did
position? What was it?
I? Oh yeah, I don't know. Um, I think I think my mom, because my mom's friend
Mhm.
Valerie, she was part of this production that was going to Shakespeare's Globe, because Shakespeare's
Ah,
Globe was
okay.
having like this huge festival of 37 countries performing Shakespeare in their native language. So
Mm.
they were translating Taming of the Shrew into Urdu at the time, and they were planning to take it. They were planning to apply and to take it to the Globe.
Mm.
And they were casting at the time a lot of like well-known actresses in the part that I eventually got.
Mhm.
Um, and I remember, I guess my mom knew some of the people, and they were like, "Oh, we need a designer for," and maybe my mom said like, "Oh, Karen could do it," you know.
Okay, cool.
And so yeah,
It
I
was
was
a nice side thing.
yeah, and so I was like, I was happy to like do the design for their brochure and everything, because they were gonna have a performance in Pakistan first, like a preview, and then travel to London.
Did
So
you
I
go
did
with
all.
them?
I did. Like I performed at the Globe
Wow,
with the troupe.
very
Um,
cool.
yeah, that was very cool, and I would say that I was in the right place at the right time.
Tell me
Um,
more about that.
because so they had an actress all set to play Bianca, the role, and Bianca was Bina in the Urdu version, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Mehreen Rahil, and then there was another actress. I've forgotten her name, but they had several, and they were, and they wanted Bina to be able to sing or something, and I'm not a singer. I mean, I mean, I don't sound too terrible, but you know, I'm not a trained singer. Um, so I was on the sidelines watching all these actresses come and go. And Susanna Wilson, who was like, I think she was the producer, or and she knew I was an actor as well.
Hmm.
And she was always telling me how reliable I am, because all of my designs were always on time, and every time she asked me to correct a mistake, it would be done in like a second. I was like the most efficient fucking designer she ever had. And I guess, I mean, she knew I was an actor as well, and she was like, I don't know, but you know, your Urdu is your second language, etc., etc. But eventually, push came to shove. Their final actress backed out at the last minute, and the Globe was like, give us the name of the actress who's playing Bina, or you know,
You're out.
you're out. So
Wow.
yeah, that's how I got in. Yeah,
So you
that's
were kind of like an understudy in a
I
way,
was in a way the understudy, yes. Like
and then you got the part, and you got to go to
I got to go to the
London.
Globe, yeah.
Wow.
So that
And
was
how many people, like how many countries participate in something like this?
oh, 37, 37
Wow,
countries. Yeah.
that's a lot.
There was, I think the Americans, somebody had Othello, and theirs was a rap version of Othello, which was amazing. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, and we got to see some of the professional productions as
Hmm.
well, and it was just it was,
Mind-boggling, probably.
it was very immersive, and I loved the way the actors were interacting with the audience the entire time,
Incredible.
and they were in the crowd, and it was just very, I don't know, surreal. I guess I've never seen theater like that before.
How long did you stay
So
there?
joyful. It was joyful. That's what I'd say.
How long did you stay there?
We stayed there for, oh my God, I don't remember. The play was on the 12th of May at the Globe, and it was in
Mm.
2015. And I think we stayed there for about 3 weeks, maybe. I would say,
Wow,
because we traveled with the play a little bit after the Globe or before, and then yeah, we went on a little tour, and did it in
nice.
schools and things like that. Yeah,
All right. So you've done a lot of work. You were also visiting faculty member for drama class
yeah.
in Lahore Grammar.
Mhm.
And how long did you do that for?
Not very long, about a year.
And what
Um,
was the experience like?
it was really, I liked it. I really enjoyed teaching these young girls, because you can tell sometimes they're still trying to figure out who they are, and they're a little bit unsure,
Yeah,
and they just need someone to sort of believe in them,
yeah,
tell them that they can do it. um and I guess obviously when I was that age, I also needed, it's a matter of empathy, right? You know that at
yeah.
that age, this is what you would have wanted to hear, so you give it to the kids. You give it to
So
them. Yeah,
you kind of saw yourself in them, probably.
yeah, I mean, you always do. I mean, that's
And teaching, is that something that you would probably want to do again because
not
you've done it a
really.
couple of times?
The thing is, I've done it. I've never really I mean, I've enjoyed it at the time that I've done it, but I wouldn't want to make a career out of it,
Hmm.
because at heart, I don't think I'm a teacher. I want to do the things. I don't want
Hmm. I get your point.
to. I think I am a teacher in that I do like teaching people, but I don't like to make. I don't like it to be structured where I'm like, oh, now I
I
have to
get you. Say.
go, like make it a fucking 9 to 5. I wouldn't. I would hate that.
Yeah, so every now and then if somebody comes to you for advice,
Yeah,
you'd be
I love
okay to
that.
do that,
Oh,
right? And
completely. Yeah,
yeah, all
I
right.
love teaching people in that way, just like off the cuff. I'll do it.
Yeah, but not as a 9 to 5. I
No,
get that. I
no,
can respect that.
yeah,
Um, you then moved to pursue art further and you
yeah,
went to the Pennsylvania Academy of
yeah,
Fine Arts.
yeah.
Tell me about the process of actually,
Applying.
why this place? Why did you think of it? Was it because you're like a, bachelor's kiya hai, to ab master's bhi karna hai?
Pretty much.
What was your thought process?
Well, I, like I said, at that age, I was just an aimless little rebel. And I remember it was Nazish Shataula, the- who eventually became principal of NCA also. It was because of her, she came and dropped like an application, like a physical application at my place to apply for the Fulbright. You know, because she
Really? Why
told me,
you?
I don't know, like she was telling me that, oh, you should apply for Fulbright, and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know how we're like, yes, I'll do it, whatever. And she had her driver or herself, she came by in her car, dropped off the fucking physical application to my place.
Wow.
Like, who fucking does that, you know?
So she must have believed in you or something.
I have no idea, but sometimes people need that. It's like you say, "Oh yeah, I'll fucking do it," but then when somebody drops off the application to your place, and then you start looking through the papers, you're like, "Oh, I guess I could fill this out," and I started filling it out, and I was like, "Okay, well now it's done. I guess I should drop it off." you know. So that's how that happened.
So
Um,
you applied for the Fulbright first?
yeah, I applied for the Fulbright, and I got the Fulbright. And I remember during the interview, they asked me about to like to compare, I don't know, Shakir Ali and Sadiqin or something. And I was just like, dude, I, like I know who these artists are, but like I couldn't compare them. Like I was like, it's not even my style of art. I'm really sorry. I'm sure you love these artists, but I'm more into this, this, and this. So if you want to ask me about that, go ahead. But I can't. I'm not going to bullshit you about Sadiqin and Shakir Ali because I really don't know much about them.
Fight or flight?
Fight
Fight.
or flight. So I was like, you know what? This is me. I'm not gonna lie or mumble my way through some, look like an idiot, basically. so, uh, so yeah, I mean, I thought I'd lost the interview after that because I was like, wow, they asked me like this huge question and I didn't know. Um,
कितने
but I
सवाल
got it.
पूछते हैं? How many
Um,
questions?
I don't remember. It was like a half hour interview.
Okay.
And
And was it with
I
one
remember
person
one
or?
question they asked me, how do you know when a painting is finished or something? I was like, yeah, I never know. Like I just have to stop at some point. Like,
That's actually a very valid answer. I
yeah.
see my wife actually, she does miniatures and she
Uh,
does portrait. She's also an NCA grad.
yeah.
And the point where she's just at the rough sketch,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is just gorgeous. Just leave it as it is. And then I come the next day and she's added other elements to
Yeah.
it. And then there's like pen work done on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like adding of, those gold fibers or silver
Mm-hmm.
fibers, and then
Or
topping
the
it off with
whole
something
leaf.
else. Gold leaf, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm blown away
Yeah.
by what artists can envision where my mind cannot even get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a valid question. It's really difficult for someone to ask you and you to answer with the accurate, yeah, I know exactly when it's finished. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but how many people interviewed you at that point in
There
time?
were there were like a panel of, I don't know, maybe 5 people, I would say.
Okay.
Um,
And with a Fulbright, do you have to then do your education and then come back?
yes. So yeah, that's the condition. So the
Okay.
Fulbright, once you get the Fulbright, they're the ones who apply for you to all the art colleges. You don't have to do shit after that.
Oh,
So they
cool.
got me into like some college in Maryland, and then there was one in Pennsylvania, one in Philadelphia, and and I picked Philadelphia because fucking Rocky was in Rocky Balboa.
Of course.
So I
I
was
mean,
like,
why
okay,
wouldn't you?
why would I not pick Philadelphia? So, that was the big, I didn't even look at the college. I was just like, Philly. So
Oh my God, that
I
is
want to walk
amazing.
through the Italian market. I want to see like the fucking statue of Rocky
Did
Balboa.
you see the statue?
I
Did you?
did. I did.
Wow.
Initially, it was on the top of the stairs, of
Yeah.
the museum, and then they put it at the bottom. I was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
don't
But
hide,
that is
man.
so amazing.
Yeah.
That is so amazing.
So
And you came back, and then from that, you did your different stints as a teacher?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the beat so. And then I also I did like the production design for this film. Uh,
Yeah.
um, and that was like, it was hard to put that film together because we were hiring intern, like not hiring them, we weren't paying them. They were just, it was a collaboration.
Of course.
And so most of them just ran off and I was like doing pretty much everything. And I was like, yeah, it's nice to see how a film is made, but like, yeah, I don't want to be in this position again, like unless it's a
Okay.
very efficient
Understandable.
well-oiled machine. um
What
so
was the
yeah,
movie, by the way?
it was called Tamanna. And I mean, the people who were working on it, like everyone was amazing. We were all friends.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say I regret working with the people. It's just that we didn't have enough people
Hmm.
working on it. So it was very tiring, and yeah, when the load entirely falls on just one person, it's difficult to manage.
Do you think that there's a lack of professionalism within this field, or at least at that time? Maybe not now, but at that time?
You know what? Honestly, I couldn't comment because I've done like one film,
Okay.
and then I stopped after that. So
Okay.
yeah.
How
Uh,
did you how did you get to France? That's my because I see a lot of people now going to places that are non-English speaking and
mhm.
still, settling in. How did you decide on France?
Okay, so my mom's side of the family had already been living in France since, well, for the past over 30 years.
Mhm.
Um, and my mom's sister had married a Frenchman.
Mhm.
And she had moved to France when she was very young, and then there my uncles moved there too, her two brothers.
Mhm.
And so yeah, they had made their lives here already, and I'd been visiting Lyon since I was a kid, and I never like envisioned moving here until like I met someone, and then yeah, it was love.
Ah, so love moved you out.
That is my prime motivator all the time. Like I will not move my ass unless I have fallen in love.
That is amazing. And then the
Yeah.
journey from Pakistan to France because of love, how did that take place? Like, did you just hop on a plane? We don't have like the
No,
best passport
that
in the
was a,
world.
yeah, that was a long. Well, I had like the Shen. How the fuck is it Shenzhen or
Schengen.
Schengen?
Yeah.
Schengen. I had that. I had
Schengen,
the.
Shenzhen, tomato, tomato.
I don't know. I'd rather say it correctly though. So if it's Schengen, I'll say.
Shenzhen,
Okay, well you just said Schengen. Is it?
tomato, tomato.
Fuck you. Tell me what the right one is.
So I on occasion have said Schengen, and then I
Okay.
have also said Shenzhen.
I actually
And
prefer Schengen, but
yeah,
yeah. So I'm just gonna say Schengen.
okay.
So I had one of those, and but I did overstay my visa at at some point,
Mm.
and I almost had to pay a fine of 2,000 euros. But the guy at the airport took pity on me because I actually looked like a deer caught in the headlights when he told me. I didn't look
Wow.
like I was doing it on purpose. He was like, "Okay, well, she didn't do it on purpose. She, okay, you know what? This time I'm gonna let you go." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." So yeah,
2,000 euros.
yeah,
And he
yeah.
let you go.
He let me go. He let me go. That was nice. Maybe he just did it to scare me. I don't know. Maybe it was like 50 euros and he just wanted to freak me out.
Did you have a
um,
plan when you went to France what you would do?
Not really, no. Like I said, I'm an aimless rebel. I've been an aimless rebel for a while. um, yeah, obviously when I finally applied for my resident card, it was on the basis of being an artist.
Hmm.
And in France, it's very specific. You can't just say artist and then you do everything.
Yeah.
You have to be very specific. This is the kind of artist I am. Like I work in making things with my hands, and it's or like a sculptor or an artisan. It's all very
Defined. Yeah.
rigid and defined. Yeah. So so yeah, like at some point I had to make art while I was here, and so and the thing was I just before deciding to move to France, I was applying to like acting schools, like in London and America and things like that. And as soon as I met this guy, that all went through the window. Like I swear, I'm led around by my loins. Like if I was a guy, this would make complete sense.
Oh my God. So then now that you're there, I'm assuming this is home for you, but
Yeah.
um what kind of art do you have to do? Do you do a job there, I assume? Or is it
Um,
more freelancing?
it's more freelancing. I've had like a couple of shows in France, but uh, at least in Lyon, I've come to discover that it's a very how do they call it bourgeoisie,
Okay.
which means they're honestly I couldn't even explain to you what it means. It means so many things.
I've read bourgeoisie and lumpenproletariat in sociology, so
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
what it is, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it. It's kind of like upper class or kind of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah. pretty much. So my art does not mesh well.
Mm.
They like it. They really enjoy looking at it when it's up in the gallery, but they would not want to hang it in their living rooms.
Is it more
Which is
like
true
nude art?
anywhere. Yeah, like that's one of my drawings right there.
That's pretty darn good, actually.
Yeah, so that's
So, I mean, people who would be listening to it as a podcast, it's basically kind of like a body shot of, maybe I would imagine, like a mannequin
mhm.
from the lower angle without the torsos and
And the
anything,
legs
but
are cut
it's
off.
the
The legs
legs
are
are
being
cut
removed.
off and it's
Yeah,
in the sky somewhere. So I love the perspective
yeah.
and I love the shading. So it
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's quite unique.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I like it
So,
too. It's pretty
I
cool.
mean, people tend to really enjoy it to look at it, but um, when it comes to sales, it's and I haven't gone into the realm of like making prints and selling prints. That's like the next step right now because I think because my drawings are so fucking huge,
Mm,
and people have small apartments here.
mm,
It's not like Pakistan, where people have big houses, they want to buy big
exactly.
things. I didn't make that transition very well. I was continuing to make large drawings, and people could not buy them.
Okay.
So
That's a learning curve, I
that's
guess.
a learning curve, yes. So now I've started to make like smaller drawings and probably make prints of the larger ones
Okay. Yeah,
and
makes
and
sense.
try to sell them online and stuff because there's a lot of effort goes into like the very very large ones because there's one that's twice the size of this one.
Hmm.
um
How long
and
does it take you?
it takes me like months, like three to 4 months, sometimes longer, 6 months,
Wow.
for just one piece, and it's all in pencil.
Wow.
So
And
yeah,
then do you work on one piece of art at a time, or are you
yeah,
multitasking?
one at a time. I'm very monogamous with my kids.
Wow.
Serial
Monogamous.
monogamist.
Oh my God. But then,
Um,
how is life as an artist? Is it easy? Like, I'm
no,
assuming at the
it
moment,
sucks. I hate
yeah.
it.
So how are you making ends meet? If I was
um,
to tell someone that be an artist, would
hmm,
I be ruining their life?
no, I don't think so. I
Can
mean,
you make a living out of it?
you can. I think you can, but I think you have to be a very shrewd business woman, man, to be able to do it.
Person.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and which I am still learning to be.
Okay.
Right?
Do you take any classes on this, or
No,
is it just learning by
it's
doing?
just learning by doing. And yeah, because I'm gonna try and get into like the print game and see where that leads me. And initially, like I did have a show in Pakistan in 2019 with O Space, and like that show, like it did pretty well.
Mm.
Um,
When you say it
and
did pretty well, do you mean from the audience perspective, or you
no,
sold something?
like yeah, the sales.
Very nice.
So no, they were very good with selling my work too. Um, and so I still have like that money saved, and like I was able to live off that for a while, but that was when the euro wasn't so fucking expensive.
Oh, tell me about it.
And now it's like what's the word for, the shit has started hitting the fan
Yeah, okay.
a
Okay.
little
So
bit.
now it's do
um
or die.
Now it's
People
do
need
or
to
die.
buy.
Now I'm having to learn how to be like learn how to do good business as well.
Make
um
wallpaper designs as well. Open an Etsy shop
Oh God, I
and
was thinking of that, but I want to open an Etsy shop because I also do
yeah,
miniature houses. Um,
nice.
I don't know if did I show you my miniature? Like, wait, I'm gonna send you a few. Should I send you now on WhatsApp? Wait.
Yeah, sure, do that. And when you say miniature houses, do you mean like 3D miniature houses or
Yes, 3D
drawings?
miniature houses. Like I make miniature houses, like
Dude,
with tiny little like things.
dude, that's freaking
Um,
cool. You need a Shopify or Etsy account for that, you
yeah, I
know?
was thinking of doing that, but there's so much stuff I want to do. There's like there's
There
like
are so many old people out there who love miniature things, right? Like I'm imagining that a woman in her late 70s might just pick up the phone one day and say, I want to buy
I
all of them.
I feel like I want to sell my miniature house for like the amount of money it would take to buy an actual house.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen then.
Hey, it could happen. People have been selling like, miniature houses sell for millions of euros, I'll have you know.
No,
Yes, they do.
I gotta get into this.
Yeah, yeah, but you're shit at drawing, so how are you gonna make a miniature house?
I'll call it abstract housing.
Yeah, you do that.
The abstract housing scheme.
Uh,
Oh my God.
okay, wait, I sent you two pictures of like the two rooms that I'd made like miniature style.
Oh, whoa. I just saw it right. Oh my.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put this up in the video as well. This is a miniature house. I see
yeah,
your
that's
thumb in the
miniature.
top right corner.
Where do you see my thumb? Oh yeah, that's my thumb. Yes. Oh, there's
How did
also
the light
there's
come
also
on?
like because I created pretty much every single thing by hand. I didn't buy it off Etsy like the tiny things.
Are you serious? This
Yeah,
is
yeah. Wait,
insanely
I'll
good.
show you like the little skull that I made. There's
Oh my God.
it's cute, isn't it? I love it.
You could bury this and people would think that this is like another discovery and,
Um,
that is so what is it made out of, this skull?
it's paper and wood. So this is like a little video where you'll see my hand come in, and the TV actually works in this one. So it plays.
You're no way.
Yeah, all the lights work. The TV works.
How does the TV how big is this house? Like
It's
define
the
the
room is about this much.
about 20 centimeters?
Yeah, about 20 centimeters. Yes, you're right.
30.
Exactly 20 centimeters. Yes. Um,
Wow. That is insanely good, Karen.
so that's another thing that
I
I
will
didn't tell you about
upload
this.
these. No. Like
Okay.
I knew you as an artist, but I didn't know you as like a freaking good. You need to open an Etsy account for this.
That's what I'm thinking.
This is the
It
stuff.
just
Yeah,
matches Etsy.
yeah, ये पेंटिंग शेंटिंग छोड़ो, ठीक है, ये
Painting,
अपने लिए
painting.
रखो.
I'm not even painting anymore. I'm drawing, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
painting,
drawings.
painting.
Like keep that for yourself, but this has money written all over it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, I
Cha-ching.
stitching, or I could just sell my body on the street. There's that too.
Oh my
You
God.
know, I heard that people make a lot of money selling feet pictures on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I don't have
Yeah,
the feet for that.
like
So
I got a pedicure the other day, and like, and the lady said I have pretty feet. So maybe
maybe why not try it on
why
the
not?
side,
Why not?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to live somehow. So
Mhm. I'm
I,
just saying,
I
you
think
gotta
it's so good.
hustle. If you're an artist, you gotta hustle.
That is
So
so good. We went from, sketching and miniatures to OnlyFans in a heartbeat. Yep. I think you have the business acumen for sure. So
yeah.
I think you can definitely make it in this world. No, but tell me something else.
Yeah.
When it comes to art, I can see the passion with this miniature stuff. When did this come about for you?
Passion for miniatures? Oh, that's always
Yeah.
been there. Like I've been
Mhm.
making doll houses since I was a kid, um, as well. So
But
all of
I'm surprised. This is like the level of accuracy, the amount of effort. If you can, please also send me a few more photos, like, far away so that I could
sure.
upload it into the chat,
I have like
into
a
the
above
video.
view if you want to see that.
Yeah, that would be
Mm,
great.
let me
Have you
see.
tried doing any kind of, they have these kind of Sunday markets, Friday flea markets. Have you tried putting up your stuff over there and seeing if anybody, buys it?
Um, no. Oh, you mean my artwork or this?
Yeah, this
I'd
miniature
be
stuff.
too terrified to put this, in a public sphere. Like I'm very,
Why?
it's tiny and like I don't want it to get ruined.
No, I understand. Take it in a close place, and there are always these Friday markets, especially in
I mean, I am
cities like.
planning to show it at this exhibition that I was in, I think in 2021.
Mhm.
It's called Lyon Art Paper, so it's for artists who work with paper.
Okay,
And most of the house has been made from paper or fabric and a little bit of wood. But I'm
excellent.
not sure if it quite fits their criteria for artists who work on paper. But
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I
It's a
do want to
medium.
show it in a gallery. Yeah, and
I I can tell you for sure. We have a lot of flea markets in Germany, and people come up with their art, and you're blown away by the amount of amazing
detail.
stuff that people bring,
Yeah.
and you actually do want to buy some of those things. Like
Mm,
something like this, I could easily imagine minimum 3 to 500 euros
mm,
minimum, and people would pay for it.
mm. Yeah, but then I wouldn't. This is, I think, miniatures like this, because this took me, like, this whole, the house and the thing, it took me 7 years
Oh,
to
this
put
is the whole
together.
house.
This is a whole house. This is not just like a room. Wait, now I have to send you another
Wow.
picture. um
Wow. No,
like,
then this
actually,
goes into the thousands.
it's the facade of a house. More than that, it goes into the hundred thousands.
Dude, Karen, before you get rich, know that we know each other.
Of course.
Oh
So that's, it's the facade of a house that
my God. Oh my God.
and I have to put like all the moss and the ivy on the walls and like the brick pattern and everything. It's not finished.
That is insanely good. Wow. I'm like literally blown away at the moment.
My friends, um, they said something very funny, because like my artwork is very in your face, explicit, and like
Hmm.
kind of I don't know what other word to use, but aggressive, right?
Yeah, okay.
And they say, and they tell me that my miniature houses are my tickety boo side. I
Seriously, it is so
Tickety boo,
true.
it's like the cutesy side of me.
Like you isolate between you oscillate
Yeah,
between like a yeah, that cuteness and that aggression, and somewhere in between you could probably murder a cat, I could imagine. So
I love cats. I wouldn't murder a cat.
yeah,
I'd
I
probably
love
murder a
cats too.
human before I murder an animal.
Oh my God. So, Karen, this has been really a lot of fun. And before I go and close the show, there is this last few questions that I tend to ask my guests. They're like rapid fire kind of
Okay.
questions.
Oh shit.
And you can't think about it. You have to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure you will not be able to air this if you
It's
want me to say the
okay.
first
I
thing
mean,
that comes to my mind.
I'll put like a 18 plus warning, or
Okay.
PG plus warning. Doesn't
All
It's
right.
not like I
We'll
get a
see.
lot of listeners anyways. Maybe a few. It's most I don't even show it to my parents because I don't know
Okay.
what they would think about it.
Mhm.
Um but let's start, okay?
Okay.
So,
Geez, have you already
more
prepared them?
no, well, yes and no. These are kind of like standard questions that I generally have.
Okay.
Um so,
All
are
right.
you ready?
Yes.
You're stretching like as if you're going to do sports.
Do
Okay.
it. I'm stretching.
First question.
Yeah.
Uh, Morning person, night person,
Night.
coffee or tea,
Coffee.
desi khana, vileti khana.
Desi. No.
Um,
Yes, Desi.
okay.
Yeah.
Movies or those 8 episode series on binge watching.
8 episode series.
Okay, and black or color.
Black.
Okay, painting or miniature. Sorry, sketching or miniature.
Sketching or miniature?
Yeah, you got to choose one of the two. One of the two.
Miniature.
Okay. The last question would be, if you had the opportunity to go to one place
Yeah.
alone,
Hmm.
where would it be?
Wow. Okay. I don't really have a place in mind. That's the thing. There's no rapid fire there.
You got
Uh,
to do a rapid fire. The first name that comes to your mind of a place.
Prague.
Oh, Nice place. Nice
Mm,
place. That's pretty cool.
mhm.
So, Karen, I want to thank you for this podcast. And before we say our tata bye byes, I do want to ask you a
Yeah,
couple, maybe one or two more questions, because I
sure.
just realized that we didn't touch upon it.
Mhm.
Um, you belong to a minority in Pakistan. How has been
I
your?
wasn't aware of this. Who
Yeah,
told you
exactly,
that?
right? It probably never came up, right?
The
It's
minority
Karen,
class of
oh,
me.
so many
I'm alone. I'm
Karens in
unique.
Pakistan.
I'm a minority class all by myself.
Like after Amna, Fatima, Karen is like the most common name, right?
Yep.
So, how was it growing up? When was the first realization that you, if it ever happened, that you were part of a minority? Did it ever come up for you?
I mean, I don't remember any specific moment where it came up and I was like, oh, I mean, I went to, like I said, Convent of Jesus and Mary, and I had like, it wasn't just Christians who went to the convent. I mean, there were more Muslim kids than Christian kids, in fact.
Hmm.
So I mean, I guess I became queer pretty quickly, but mostly my friends were, if I had to put labels on it, yes, most of them were Muslim. I didn't have
Hmm.
very many Christian friends, and I didn't really look at it that way either, because like my parents didn't see it that way. You
That's
know,
pretty good.
people were just people to us,
Yeah.
um, and that's how I assume people saw me. You know, I never felt like, oh, I'm a Christian. I no, I'm like I'm Karen.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Um, but I would say I had the privilege to be able to think like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Why
because
do you
I
say this?
because I came first of all, my family was artistic, and the community is completely different around a family like that.
Hmm.
We're not exposed to tradition as much. We're not told to follow norms as much. Yeah. And so yeah, I was privileged in that way because I was allowed to have a free mind, and I of course didn't think in terms of Muslim and Christian when I was growing up.
Do you
um,
think that you were maybe of if we go into the minority, do you think you were maybe of an upper class within the
yes,
minority and that gave you
definitely,
the privilege?
definitely, because I've heard, like, of course, everyone has help in the house, so our help was from a Christian family. And of course we would hear from them how they were treated by their neighbors, and how, the names that they were called, and it's heartbreaking. And of course, we've seen the news stories of, like, uh, families who have been accused of blasphemy,
Yeah.
or have to be very careful about what they say, or like not make any enemies, and just watch their back, you know and unfortunately, fortunately, or I mean, I don't even know what word to
You
use
were
here, but
sheltered
I was
from this.
sheltered from all of that. You know,
That's actually
um,
pretty good to hear.
of course, my mom also trained me not to talk about religion, like, ever. She was like, "You
Okay.
keep your mouth fucking shut, girl." Not
Yeah.
because she didn't want me getting in trouble, because she knew I had words.
I can see that that was probably maybe a safety barrier around
Yeah, yeah,
her child. So I don't
mhm,
blame her for it.
yeah,
It's when, for example, I moved abroad, I normally don't notice any kind of religious animosity towards me, but there's always this sentiment that I would rather keep it to myself, and
yeah,
only once I know the kind of people I'm around that I would open up about it.
yeah, right.
So yeah, I anyways think religion is a
Mm,
very personal
mm,
experience, and
should
it's not
be, yeah,
something that I should be pushing on to someone else, and I don't need anyone to push it on to me. So,
yeah.
but it's good to
And
hear
you
this,
and you
that
don't need validation from anyone either. You
absolutely.
know,
I mean, religion is for yourself,
and plus,
so
like
that's
like
pretty
I
good.
said, maybe what helped in my case is also that my family wasn't religious, in
Okay.
any way. Like, we never went to
Hmm.
church. I wasn't even baptized.
गलत बंदी से बात कर रहा हूँ मैं
हाँ,
कि
बिल्कुल
मतलब that
गलत,
is just
गलत। Yeah.
You're like, yeah, okay, whatever you guys say. Sure, I'm down with it. Bismillah, man. Let's eat this.
Pretty much. Um,
Pretty cool.
so yeah, like I would say whatever the only time I ever felt, I guess, any discrimination, but even then, like it was kind of just funny to me. Not, I didn't feel it like, oh my God, I feel discriminated against, and I'm hurt.
Hmm.
Was in school once when this girl invited me to her birthday party, and I was like, oh, can I bring my friend Michelle? And so this girl said, no, two Christians at the party will be too much. I was just like, what?
I
I
yes.
I would like, it did not compute for a second what the fuck she was saying. I was like,
Oh my
huh?
God.
Like, what are you even talking about? Like, it took me a second to like even remember that I was Christian.
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Oh my
that's how much religion didn't matter to me, that
Oh
when
wow.
people bring it up, I'm like, huh?
Like you were probably like, yeah, I see what. Whoa, wait, I'm Chris. Oh yeah, what the
Oh
hell are you
yeah,
saying, girl? Oh my God.
pretty much.
How old were you then?
I was 6 or 7, 6 or 7, yeah.
I mean, the fact that a 6, 7 year old even knows the difference between that's way too much. That's
Okay, I do have a story for you now. I do have a moment where I felt really bad about it.
okay. Tell me.
I remember. Okay. So, I had like these neighbor kids that I grew up with,
Hmm.
and we play all the time, and they were like my best friends. And and obviously I was in and out of their house. They were in and out of mine, and I knew all of their aunts and uncles. And I would dress the way I would dress, like in my little skirts, and they would be a little bit more modest with the way they dressed,
Hmm.
conservative family. Um, so I would I would go in there with the way I dressed and the way I talked, and the family found me adorable, I guess, because I was like very young, but I was an oddity to them.
Yeah, very
Um,
different.
very different. So I think one day I remember, like, years had gone by, I'd been playing with their kids, and I remember I was like maybe 13, 14 years old. I went over to their place, and like somehow they had planned this out. They wanted to have an intervention of some kind.
No.
Yeah. And so they sat me down and they were like, we really like you, and you've been playing with our kids. And the parents of my two friends were not involved in this. They weren't even there. They're like the nicest people, like that particular family, but it's their joint family that were just like insane.
Was it a joint
It was a
family kind
joint
of?
family thingy, and like all of their aunts and uncles, and like the grandmother was sitting there,
Oh
and
no, don't let
and
the grandmother.
yeah,
Oh,
don't let the grandmother was a piece of work, let me tell you.
oh
Um,
my God.
she so they sat me down, and my friends were there too, and they had no idea what was coming. Like, in their defense, they were like, you know taken by surprise,
Flabbergasted, shocked.
flabbergasted. Yes, I like that word. um so they sat me down. They were like, you've been playing with our kids for years, and we really like you, so we want to save you, because being who you are, you're going to burn in hell for all eternity, and
Oh
we
my
don't want you
God.
to we don't want you to suffer. So
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
what?
Wow. They probably thought that they were gonna get their ticket to heaven just by
I have
taking one
no
more with them.
idea what
Oh
they
my God.
thought. But I was there, I think maybe 30 minutes, and just I didn't say anything, obviously, because I didn't know what the fuck to say,
Mm-hmm.
and B, mom had told me not to say anything. So I just took it. I just sat there and listened, and then I made some excuse to go home, and I was like, okay, it's lunchtime now. I guess my mom is probably wondering where I am. And then when I went home, I remember, like, I was a little bit shell shocked, because this is the first time someone had like it had an intervention. And then I remember I sat down next to my dad, and I just burst out crying. And I think that was the first, and I don't even remember why I was crying. Like, I think it was just shock
I'm
that
so sorry for that.
manifested. I mean, that was them trying to, help me.
Yeah, but that's the
um,
problem with our society. You think that
yeah,
what we are doing is right and everybody else is wrong, and there's no when does coexistence then come into play if you're trying to make everybody
yeah,
like you?
yeah. My mom was really pissed though. She didn't say
I can
anything,
imagine.
but she was really mad.
Did you
Um,
reduce your coming and goings to that place, or
she said don't go over to their place anymore. Like they can come over, and I remember my friend, like the younger sister of the two. She was so fucking. I'm still friends with her. She came over, like I think either right after, because she saw that Karen was not being herself. Karen was very quiet. um so she came over the next day and she was like, Karen, I had no idea that they were going to do that. And then she started insulting her own family. She was like, what the fuck were they thinking? And like, and then she started bitching about her aunt. She was like, itni badi ghori ho gayi hai aur usko samajh nahi aa raha ye bakwas nahi karte.
I
And
think the
like,
sensitivities
so
are
much
more
tiny, so much vitriol coming out of this tiny little body. And I was so appreciative, of her, like
that's good. Standing
saying
up
that
for
to me,
you at least,
standing up.
yeah.
Well, they couldn't stand up for me at the
At
moment
the
because
point.
it's their elders, and like, what are they going
Yeah.
to say? They were shell shocked too. But I really
Probably took them
appreciated.
by surprise. But
Yeah.
no, I think that if she came back and she kind of said, "Look, I'm on your side. I'm completely
Mm,
shocked as well." At
yeah.
least that is validation that
Yeah.
she understands what you
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
through. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's empathy there. So okay, good. I At least it had a good ending.
It did. It did. I
Cody
mean,
Jesse.
I
Oh
was
my god.
very touched by my friend, and that's why we're still friends too. Like I call her sometimes, and like she's living in
That's good.
Turkey now, with away from the joint family.
Give her a call after this podcast
Yeah,
and tell her that we might be airing this clip
yeah,
so she knows
yeah.
about it, and we might be
Well, I mean,
letting
I didn't
everybody
take her
know.
name or anything, so
That's
I didn't
fine.
I didn't take anyone's name.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But we now know that if there is an auntie out there who looks like a ghori,
Yeah,
so we know we know who we're talking
yeah,
about,
pretty much.
right? Karen, thank you so much, and
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate talking to you. And I'm gonna be following your journey even more and more.
Yeah.
And I really want to see this miniature house going on sale for at least 200,000.
Dude, you're still too fucking low.
Really?
It's €1 million. That's how
Okay,
much it's
a
gonna be.
million.
A
Let's make it
million.
a million and
Mm.
a half, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's go
Thank
for
you.
that.
Now we're
That is pretty
talking.
cool. All
Yeah.
right.
I
So
fucking
you have a
chateau.
great day. Thank you so
Dude.
much for chatting with me.
Well, thank you for thinking of me for this. This was fun.
This was really cool. Take care.
You too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.